Hey everyone, it's Brian with GreyWolf Towers again. So today's video is going to be a different one. I don't think I've done a review on a monitor. So this is the Sceptre C27, which is a 185 Hertz monitor. It is curved screen. I don't recall the curve, but we'll take a look at it and we'll showcase this and let everyone see it. It is also an edgeless design, so the bezel is like non-existent supposedly. And then it's also AMD FreeSync, which will hopefully run on NVIDIA as well with the way that they've now made it, so that it's able to function with FreeSync, not just G-Sync monitors. However, you will notice that before we can get looking at everything, it has these straps, and because of that, we have our trusty tools, the scissors. Alright, now we are going to take these and toss them in the trash. Now the box has two spots that are those pull tabs to pull out, and then you can flip it open, and they're taped shut, so we're going to have to get into those real quick. Now, like I said, this is a first for our channel. I don't usually do monitors, but I'm looking to get into more parts and things that we don't normally do, and so I wanted to show off something a bit nicer. I'll have to post this side what the cost was. It wasn't very much for what it is. I want to say it was $200, give or take a couple bucks, plus tax. So tax would be here is 6.2%, but when you buy it through Amazon, they tax it based on where it's going, not where you buy it. So, for instance, if I was to send it to my mother-in-law, it would cost me like almost 9% or just over 9%, something like that. So, all right. So we have the box open. Let's get this bad boy out so we can take a peek at it. Alright. Alright. Was not ready for the stuff coming out like I should have been, but we have the manual, and then it's got looks like a display port, a screwdriver, some screws, some other little things in here. We'll go over those as well in a second here. The foot of the stand, it's actually really sturdy. I mean, it's like I expected it to be either plastic or flexible metal, and this is metal, but it is not flexible. I mean, I'd have to put a lot of pressure onto this to bend it. I mean, I probably could, but it'd be a lot of pressure. And then this is the neck of it that goes up to the monitor. And then this is the power supply. Alright, the moment of truth for the screen to be revealed. You can tell from this that it's got a curve to it. It's 27 inch, so it's a pretty hefty monitor. Ooh, look at that. Oh, it's beautiful. It is one of the bigger monitors that I have purchased. I only have one that's bigger. It's my 4K screen I got for, I want to say, about the same cost as this one used, not new. It's a 4K, I want to say Acer something, 28 inch, 4K, 60 Hertz. Not curved, it's just flat. 1080p is a lower quality. It is still high def though. So, alright. So now with this, for the back panel, so with this monitor, the back panel has these little tabs that you have to pull off so you can get into where the screws go. So we're going to take these off. I'm going to cut here and then come back with a screwdriver for this. So oh wait, no, I don't even have to. So now in this pouch with the instructions, we also have so in the pouch with the instructions we have a clip for cables, for cable management. We have a screwdriver. I'm going to set this down here because I'm going to need that right now. Oh, looks like a second clip. Some sort of anti-noise pad and some screws. The other half of the power cable for the power supply. It's kind of like a laptop charger, so you've got the standard cable and then you've got the brick and the cable that goes to the screen. And yep, display port. So it is a display port cable. Alright, so I don't normally do this. I'm going to probably fast forward this, but I'm going to take a peek at this is just the warranty and registration paper. So I'm going to take a quick peek at the instructions real fast. I may either cut it or fast forward it. Alright. So I'm going to keep these handy because I'm going to need those when I'm done. I'm going to need the neck. And I'm going to need the foot, whatever you want to call it. I guess foot, because although technically it's two, it's on the same thing. It looks kind of like a bird foot. Okay, I see what that pad is for. So this fits in, and then it's going to take some screws on the bottom. So the screwdriver comes with a nifty tip cover, which is cool. I can't remember the last time that I got that. Sceptre really did that good. So now this is the package here. Now the moment of truth on the screwdriver, is it magnetic? And it is. Cool beans. Alright, and then once we drop the screw in, we just have to line up the screwdriver and screw it into place. Okay, so with one screw it's actually pretty steady, but you always want to put the maximum amount in. And I'm just dropping these down. They go right into the spot because of the channels that are lined up for it. And then, alright, so now it's not a sound dampening pad like I thought. It is a cover or foot to this. So now this, you peel the backing off, and then you line it up, and it goes right there, and so now it won't scuff up your table or desk. So now you got that, and then if you need to take it apart again, you just peel it back. The feet here are plastic, they're not soft like this. This is like a rubber grommet type feel to it. These have little ones like that, but the majority of them are plastic, so you want to try to avoid shifting it around, but as you can tell, it should hold up pretty well. Like I said, the metal's not very flexible. I mean, I would have to put a lot of pressure into it to do that. And then now, if you look at the metal bracket, you'll notice that it has a couple of teeth up here. It goes in like this so that it holds in. There we go. And then we take our screws. Now it has 2 screws for that, which is a bit unusual. Usually you see 4, but I guess 2 will do it because of those teeth. So the difficulty in screwing these in is not the manufacturer's fault, it's mine. My hands are a bit hard to manipulate things, and so I had to get them down into the holes. They're not just drop in, you do have to kind of aim them a little bit and put them in. Alright, now that those 2 screws are in, now we're just going to take these little pieces here and pop them back into place. There we go. Now, on the back, we have the menu keys over here where my hand is. You've got, so you've got the menu keys with the menu and exit, and then the power button. So the little button's the power, so when you're trying to feel for it, just go for the middle. And then the up and down, so that'd be for like volume and things like that. Now, with this monitor, it has 3 inputs for the video. There are, okay, so right here you've got the power, which is the other cable. Then you've got a display port, should be here, and that's a DisplayPort version 1.2. It's capable of the 185 Hertz. Then you've got the HDMI 2, which is capable of 144 Hertz on HDMI 1. And then you've got, and that's an HDMI 2.0. Then you've got an HDMI 1.4, which is just capable of doing 120 Hertz, and that's HDMI 2. And then you've got a audio jack for doing headphones. So it comes with everything that you need there. So now we're going to take the power cable here, and you're going to take the power brick and just plug it in here like that. So like I said, it's basically a laptop charger. So I'm going to need to go plug this in, so bear with me a moment here. Okay, so I'm back. I also went and plugged in our DisplayPort cable. So now for that, all we have to do is remove the cap on each end. And I did have it backwards. When you're looking at the back of it, it is the power in, HDMI 2, HDMI 1 DisplayPort, and headphones. So from the center out. So, alright, now, you ready for this cool part? This is like one of the coolest things about new stuff. Ready? Before we can try it out, ta-da! That's how new it is. Alright, so now we're going to plug it in. And then like I said on the menu listings, it's the centermost button. Give me a second, I'm going to try it on a different port real quick and see if maybe it's just that HDMI, or that DisplayPort doesn't work. Aha! So apparently that DisplayPort does not function on that graphics card. So as you can tell, it has a pretty good screen to it. I'm going to see about doing some video capture in a moment, and then I'll add that in so that we can see it actually playing. One more second here. There we go. Alright, so I switched the USB adapter to a different spot on that board, and it seems to be working now. Yeah, there we go. So we've got everything set up. Okay, sorry about that. I had to swap out the mouse and keyboard because the wireless ones just for some reason are not working. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the videos from playing. I sometimes like to try that out on the video cards for a little bit to see how it does. Just run the the benchmarking software on it for this to show you it changing, and I'll try and capture some video of it running so we can see how it looks. So 9. I mean, it's keeping up great with the graphics card. It's running 73 frames a second right now. I hear sound from it, and I don't have any kind of speakers plugged up, so this has speakers built in. They're a little bit on the low side. Let's so that's at 100%. Not very loud. It is a nice feature to have though, in case you don't have a separate set of speakers. So it's better than nothing, but it's very low. So I wouldn't recommend having it as your only speakers unless you can't afford to grab another set. I know that when you're on a budget, you sometimes just cannot do another set. And so to get you by, but you will definitely be better served having an actual set of speakers for like 10 bucks off of Amazon. So this is about a third of the way into it. It's running pretty good. I'm not seeing any artifacting, no hitches in it where it's like stuttering or anything. It's running really good. Now this is only being run with an RX 580 2048 SP, so it's essentially a higher priced 570. It's not a full 580, and it only has 4 gigs of VRAM, so it's not like the high-end best model either. But it does do a good job, and for a monitor that's capable of 144 Hertz or more, in this case 185 Hertz, the monitor will be able to outpace the graphics card, so you won't have any problems with it running. Right now it's doing about 83 frames per second, like 82.8. So again, the monitor can more than handle it. You could run it on the lower of the HDMIs and you'd still be able to take on an RX 580 2048 SP. Just broke 83, 84 FPS on average, and about 2/3 of the way through, 85, 86, still climbing, so it's doing good on average, mind you. Oh, 86.9. So obviously the more that's going on the screen, the lower FPS you're going to get on the video card, no matter what video card it is. With something like a 2080 or 2080 Ti though, you would end up blowing it out of the water at, you know, max speeds and everything, especially on 1080p. Now mind you, this is 1080p high settings preset for the test here. So on high settings you should get over 80 frames per second. And again, this monitor can more than double that. So 88.7 FPS average, running the 4GB RX 580 2048 SP. And the processor on this test bench is a Ryzen 5 2600X on an X390 motherboard with 16 gigs of DDR4, and I believe the DDR4 is running at 2933, but it might be like 2800. It is 2133 memory with no XMP profile that from the original release of RAM, and so I've overclocked the RAM to at least 2066, but I'm pretty sure I'm running it at 2933. But again, with the Ryzen 5 2600X and an RX 580 2048 SP 4GB model, you should easily on high settings hit the 80s on the FPS. And as you can see, this monitor more than handles that. And as you can hear, there's music. Now it's gone. but the colors look really crisp and clean. Let's see if we can get another picture here. Look at that. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, the screen resolution is great. 1080p is actually still really viable and really good, and it runs smoother and better than any of the other resolutions above it. So I'm going to see about doing a little bit of a video clip here. I'm going to set the settings to gaming and enable the anti-lag and see what happens. Now this is an AMD video card with a FreeSync compatible monitor, so the FreeSync and the graphics card will match together and work, so there won't be any problems with that. So I'm going to see about doing a clip, and then I will add that into the video. The curve to it is actually really nice. It kind of gives me, I'm going to be honest, I almost never get goosebumps except when something really weird is going on, and I will tell you what, looking at this screen, I get chills. I get the goosebumps, and I don't usually get goosebumps. Now, on my personal machine, I use a 2080 Super, so I'm not familiar with the Radeon software as much as somebody that uses it regularly. So give me a moment to figure out some settings, and I'll see about running a match of Fortnite, and then add that into the video in a moment here. All right, so now before we get going though, the Unigen Heaven benchmark shows that it has 138.4 average FPS, whereas on there it showed us a 80 something. I'll post that up here. It's 80 something, like 88 average FPS. So I'm gonna blur out that stuff there, but probably chop it right to the intro saying hi, GreyWolf 79. Okay, so we gotta restart real quick, and then hopefully shortly after that we will be updated on both the drivers to the latest 20.8.1 for AMD's driver package, and then hopefully shortly after that we'll be fully updated and installed on Fortnite, and then I will run a test and see how it works, and then I'll add that in. Now do keep in mind that when I do add that clip in, it will be limited to 60 FPS playable through the software that I edit with and everything, but I will give you a view, like I will give you my view of how it's running when that happens. Alright. So it's loading now, and like I said, I will add this in, let's see, Alt-R. It is recording, so we're going to see what it sets it as, and then we're going to switch to, once we see what they recommend with the video card we have, we'll then switch to competitive settings. It'll give us FPS over visuals. So here I was loading up Fortnite so that we'd be able to test out the monitor. So I had it search for the settings first, then I logged in for Battle Royale, and then once I was able to, I went ahead and skipped into the setup so that I could go to characters. I'm not a professional player, I'm not even an everyday player for fun for games, so it took me a few minutes to find everything, get into it. Now in the settings, I wanted to go and take the FPS lock away so that it was no longer locked at 60 FPS. I also wanted to make sure that all the settings were set to as close to competitive as I'm aware of to get the best performance from the graphics card, so that it would give the best performance with the monitor. So I took shadows to medium.
I left view distance as epic and anti-aliasing to medium, and then textures, effects, and post-processing were all set to low. VSync was left off. I switched it so that the show FPS was on, so it'll be on the screen when we're watching. And there's me setting the frame rate limits to unlimited so that it won't stop the FPS from taking full usage of the screen. And then I loaded up a match. And so it took a little bit to load, but that wasn't the fault of the screen. That was just the game takes a while. So this is the lobby or whatever you want to call it when you first load in. I grabbed some stuff to test it out. Everything was going good. Everything moved good. I felt like it was moving quite nicely. I decided to take some pot shots at some people across the way. It was an interesting experience trying to snipe. I've never had a sniper rifle with Fortnite before. As you can tell, when it's a sitting target that's not moving, I'm actually not too bad of a shot. So now when it comes to the bus, my philosophy is wait until the end when everybody else has already dropped. And that way I know where they mostly are. I can grab some weapons and then get into the fights when I'm ready. I like to be ready for the fights and not just jump straight in and start, going after everybody, because in my experience, I almost always die when that happens. So now here I am just trying to aim for where I want to go, trying to find a good spot that others aren't already headed to or gone to. So I landed on the house, and then I went in and started grabbing some materials and whatever ammo and weapons were available. Like I said, I like to get ready before I get into a fight. I still quite frequently hit the wrong buttons, which is why you'll see things pop up when I'm moving around. So gathering enough weapons and ammo to allow me to get going. So again, materials can be used for a variety of things, but apparently I'm not able to use them like I used to. But here's me grabbing some ammo, deciding on weapons, getting myself a little bit better prepared. Some more ammo. I mean, if you watch the screen, there's not much going on. You don't see any drops or any glitches that make it look unplayable. It, for the most part, stayed above 100 FPS and was not just clear on the screen, but was also clear on the items, and I was able to move around. Now, this didn't give me the absolute best game of my life. That would have been a game yesterday. As of the time of this recording, 3 kills with a 3 versus 1 where they were right on top of me, and I managed somehow to kill all 3 of them. So I made it through the first 50, which, like I said, is pretty uncommon for me. I usually die within the first 25 people. So this was a pretty decent experience. I'm not going to say that the monitor necessarily made me a better player, but it was definitely not anything holding me back. And I decided to take a car for a ride. Now, when it comes to cars, I suck horribly bad at driving in video games. No clue why, really, just never been very good at it, as you can tell. But I decided to use it as kind of like an extra shield so that I could drive around and explore, and if I got shot at, then I'd have a little bit of protection. And as you can tell, I did get spotted, and an entire squad decided to come after me, so I decided to run them down. And if you keep an eye on the counter, you can tell that it's staying pretty decent on the FPS. It was clear and crisp images, and I just rode around bashing them. Nothing like running over people. And so I tried to stay as coordinated on it as possible. Now here's the kicker is that, and this is not monitor related, but as you can tell, I killed the guy and killed additional guys and was able to loot them. Yet at the end, we will look at the breakdown of the match. It gave me 0 kills. No clue why, but that's a game glitch, not a monitor glitch. I mean, I took out 3 or 4 people there with the car and the guns. I felt that it was perfectly usable and playable. The screen was amazing, and I just absolutely love the screen. I'm actually considering switching my 4K 60 hertz screen for this screen. They're roughly the same size view space, but this one is 185 hertz, whereas mine is only a 60 hertz 4K. So I'll lose a little in the definition, but I will not suffer for the switch out. And here's what I was talking about earlier with the not being very good. Last time I remember playing, I was able to build up like that, and then it would allow me to put out the shoot thing, and then I could glide down the glider, shoot, whatever. For whatever reason, it wouldn't allow me to do that here. My squad was able to grab me. They didn't heal me, but they looted me when I expired, and then they went and got me respawned. So just keep an eye on that, counter and see where it's going. It's actually not too bad. It was staying pretty good. I mean, the monitor had no issues keeping up with it, and here's me watching through their eyes. Now, one of them seems to be pretty decent at flying the chopper, which was kind of cool. I've never flown anything in here. In fact, the car ride was my first driving anything as far as I can recall. And they were getting shot at, so the chopper was taking damage, and so they needed to land. Now, luckily, at this stage, take out some guys, and then they go and respawn me. They did take their time getting to me. In this time, you'll notice that the 4th person dropped out. They stopped playing because it was taking these guys so long to get us to the respawn van thing. And here's where they respawn me. And like I said, I'm a fairly bad player when it comes to this kind of game, so I don't last very long. So here's me trying to take after learning from them with these things. And then you'll notice that right here, I start getting shot at. I'm running, trying to gather some resources and stuff, and then you'll see the enemy come in there on the bottom right corner, and he's shooting at me already, and there I am trying to run away and grab some stuff so that I can actually fight back. And he's just a little bit quicker than I am, so I'm trying to fight back, but like I said, I'm a fairly bad player. He bested me, and he got me. And then at this point, the match kind of died.
Overall, not a horrible thing, But anyway, the screen kept up great. I mean, it was amazing. So, for a cheapo monitor, it actually did really good. And I have no problems recommending this screen for those that are looking for a budget monitor that does over 144 hertz. Doesn't quite hit the 240 hertz, but it does pretty darn good. So anyway, this has been the review of the Sceptre C27 curved gaming monitor as shown on the box. It is not quite edgeless, but it is very thin edge. And then it has the curved screen to it. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you found it entertaining, educational, or informative, make sure you hit the like button down below. If you have any questions about the product or the channel or myself, make sure you leave those in the comments down below. As always, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button that I'm going to link up here, and that way you can keep up to date on our new videos as well as our community tab. So thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day. Bye for now.